time to move on to some teams that actually deserve our attention as we switch our focus to the West region. And wow, we saw maybe one of the best games of the tournament. Again, wasn't a dramatic, buzzer beater or anything like that. But the Florida UConn game, goodness gracious, that was the new kid on the block coming up against the old head, and everyone thinks the new kid's going to run him out. And the old head stuck around. Unfortunately for Dan Hurley and the Huskies, though, Florida too much. Florida is moving on to the Sweet 16. They are, joined by Maryland. We already kind of talked about that buzzer beater over Colorado State. They demolished Grand Canyon in the first round. But do want to give a little shout out to Colorado State for taking care of business against Memphis. Texas Tech, they are the 3 seed. They are heading to the Sweet 16. Well, they have, of course, our perennial Cinderella, if you want to call them that. 75-66 winners over St. John's. And I had one bracket where St. John's was a Final Four team. That bracket, not ideal. But the problem that I had with this St. John's team, I just didn't expect it to happen so early. I knew if they were going to lose, it was going to be because they couldn't shoot. But Texas Tech will be facing off against Arkansas on the bottom side of the West region. These will be on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Florida, Maryland gets us started at 7:40 Eastern, and then Texas Tech, Arkansas after 30 minutes after that. Raider Jim, your thoughts on the West region?
Yeah, congratulations to Drake for a great performance. I think they did very, very well. They got out of that first round, ran up against the Dynamo Texas Tech. But I'll tell you what, if I was a Texas Tech fan, I'd be very, very concerned about facing Arkansas, who not only showed what they can do against a high caliber team, they showed that they are good enough to be on the floor with any of the top seeds. And I think that they're going to give Texas Tech everything they can handle. Don't be surprised if Arkansas advances into the Elite Eight. Now, on the upper side of that, Florida, Maryland, that's going to be a pretty good game. But if I was a little kid, like, 9 years old or younger than that even, and I watched Florida play basketball, I would look under my bed before I went to bed, go to sleep that night, because they are just scary. What a fantastic team they've got there at Florida. And I don't see them having too much trouble with Maryland. They're going to have to play good. They're going to have to be no mistakes, but that's what they do. And they're so darn physical. So I think Florida is going to get out of that round. Florida, Arkansas could be one of the best matchups we see in this tournament.
Yeah, I personally, I don't see how anyone can take down Florida. Personally, I think Duke, you're power ranking these teams right now. Duke 1, Florida 2, and you could probably convince me of Florida 1. I was very impressed with Florida. And, maybe some people will say, oh, they should have beat UConn by more or this or that. That's the 2-time defending champ with a very good head coach over there. Maybe not as good as he thinks he is, but still a damn good coach. And they took everything from UConn and they fought back. Todd Golden has been kind of came out of nowhere. This Florida team, I know there was some talk preseason, but it's kind of, time capsule seeing the Florida Gators as a 1 seed and dominating the way they are. Texas Tech is interesting to me, though. The length of Texas Tech could possibly be the reason, I think has to be the reason they do take down Arkansas and possibly Florida. Toppin is obviously a fantastic player, but it seems like every single one of their guards to forwards have a wingspan of 6'10" plus. It's very, very impressive, but I just don't see anyone taking down Florida here. I just think they're way too good, too well coached. And again, when you see teams coming out of the SEC, and obviously Arkansas did as well, but they're so battle tested that it seems like they're not phased. Like, even if they faced Arkansas in the Elite Eight, that's like their 5th toughest game in the past, what, 30 days? So I don't know. I don't think this team will be phased too much. And again, Maryland, good team. I don't think there are too many teams I give a chance to against Florida. And then yeah, just kind of looking through this. UNC Wilmington, they pushed Texas Tech a bit. But at the end of the day, Texas Tech a little bit too much for them. But it's going to be an interesting regional semi and regional final, but I do expect Florida, Texas Tech, and Florida is just so good.